up, everybody? Welcome to another fresh take, fresh off this morning's fresh take. Vicky, how are you?
I am good. I'm in my car. I'm in New Jersey, so I might start cursing at people, but I'm good.
Oh boy. And Jen, how are you?
I am so good.
Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it
Thanks
today.
for having me.
So, cartoon greatness happened last week. Two episodes of cartoon greatness. First thing though, Disney, I'm gonna need y'all to do me a small, slight favor. Stop doing double premieres when you know good and well you only got 10 episodes. Because just give me the whole thing or just do week by week. Netflix has me spoiled. So either stop doing 2 episodes, just do one. And we can go, we can do one at a time. Or give me the whole thing. Because you did that with me with Bad Batch. You dropped 3 episodes on me. And then I had to wait.
I agree.
Please stop doing that.
I agree.
Please. So
That's
this is basically yep, Vicky.
I was like, that's very true. I don't know why they did the double. I don't know why they keep doing double.
Well, I feel like wait, hold on. Before I started on anything, are we allowed to say spoilers? I don't want to like
Okay.
okay.
They had a full week. They had Saturday. I gave them came out on Wednesday. They had a full day yesterday
Okay.
getting their underwear and watching eat a bowl of cereal. So
Okay.
yeah, spoilers
This is
on the table.
very much a spoiler podcast.
Spoiler full
Say everything.
take. But I think what they do, because like if they had dropped it, if the first episode ended, I don't think it would have been as much of a cliffhanger with the second episode.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't think the first episode is a cliffhanger enough on its own, based on how it was written.
The second episode felt like a what if first season. I'm like, what are you doing to me?
I know. I bet so many people who watch the old show were triggered. Like,
oh, they were
so bad.
They were so mad. Okay. First things first. I read the comics, so I'm an X-Men comic reader. So everything that happened, I know exactly what story they're going with. And if you're upset, trust me, by the end of the season, you're gonna be jumping through the roof with how Storm gets her powers back. Because yes, Storm does lose air quotes her powers. She gets them back.
Hold on, let me go on my woke black woman rant. Why did the black woman have to lose her powers saving the white man? Can we talk about that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, was she technically a magical Negro saving the white man from everybody else? Like, what are we doing here? Okay, I'm done. Go ahead.
Valid, 100%.
Valid, but I will say this, because they did an interview with the voice actress for Storm, and I love hearing her talk because she broke down like a lot of stuff that they were talking about during like about that sequence in particular, and I think it makes a whole lot of sense in the fact that the parts leading up to that, Storm had took complete control of that whole situation. Like the complete control. She was telling them that you in to shut up. If you want to live, shut up and do what I say. Essentially, make sure Magneto gets that collar off him because I need his backup. It was basically she controlled the whole situation.
So it's basically reality when the black woman got to take control and get everybody together. Oh, okay.
And then what happens? Yeah, exactly.
She gets screwed over.
Yep.
Like I said, trust me. I understand why you're mad, but just because I know that story that they're pulling from, when she gets her powers back, well, let me just say, in the comic, when she got her powers back, she affected the weather on 3 different continents. That's how strong, like, her power got even more powerful, to say the least. So I understand why people were upset, but I was like, hey, look, trust me, when she gets her powers back, it's going to be beautiful. It's gonna be way more beautiful. And plus, like, one of the things that I like that they do in the show that they don't really do in the comic is when Storm uses her powers. I love her little chants that she does with them. Because there's a scene in here in the first episode that the whole give them the forecast, and I don't know if Sentinels know what fear is, but they dang so sounded like they was afraid.
For sure. I really like Storm's new design too. I think that I really like the mohawk. I don't know. It's just the whole thing is just really, really nice. It's just so exciting.
It's like the new but the old combined, and I like that because I didn't like when it went to biker Storm.
Right. What is your car doing? What is happening
what is your
right
car
now?
doing?
I don't know. It's like, oh, are you trying to use Bluetooth? Because no. Stop.
It really wants you to.
I know. It's weird. But I was just saying, I like the design, like you said, the new with the old is very, very, very beautiful. And, I grew up very much a Storm fan because, there wasn't a lot of cartoon characters that looked like me, and then she was powerful and awesome. And then my backup favorite character was Gambit. So those are my two.
I love Gambit. I love Gambit so much.
I mean, how can you not love Gambit?
Love Gambit.
And apparently he knows how to cook in this one. So
because they let him.
Yeah, they let him actually. I will say this, just from an overall visual standpoint, I think they did a good job because I know what they were trying to do. They were trying to get the feel of the 90s show.
Yeah.
And that's kind of hard to do in modern times now because of how they had to do animation back then. I think they did a pretty good job with the meeting in the middle.
Yeah.
Because I thought personally they was going to do the whole, when I first heard that they had gotten the rights and they were going to do it, I thought they were going to do it like they did with the What If animation. That's what I thought they were going to do, but they didn't do that. They actually tried their best to stay as close to the 90s as they could while still making it look clean. So from a visual standpoint, I love the visual standpoint of it. Plus the soundtrack is very much the show's soundtrack, even though the intro is a little bit different. I do like that they already teased who the main villain for the first season is in there, and it's pretty much Mr. Sinister, which I like Mr. Sinister. He's a pretty decent villain when it comes down to it. So, and I'm hoping, because I don't know if the guy who voiced him is still alive, because they've gotten most of the people back,
right?
But there's a couple people that they won't be able to get back, like the guy who voiced Apocalypse. He passed away in 2005. There's a couple other people that passed away. So I'm hoping they got the guy who did the original voice of Mr. Sinister back in the 90s, because I always liked, he was one of my favorite characters in the old stuff. So there was that. So I wanted to get you guys started on that first episode, because the first episode has a straight up, if you watched season 5, right when that last episode hit, this is pretty much the next day.
Right.
Feel to it. Quick question. A, do you like what they did with Cyclops? And B, do you like what they did with Cyclops?
I have so many opinions about Cyclops.
Go.
And but I think they did a good job making him slightly cooler combat-wise. Slightly. Because I don't think he's that cool to begin with. I don't know. I think the combat is definitely better. I think that they definitely thought more about Cyclops' how he would utilize his powers in real situations versus before, when he was very Superman-esque. I feel just very I'm so much better than everybody else was the attitude I always got from him. But it feels a little like they're taking a page out of Leonardo from Ninja Turtles with his I need to be the leader, I need to be in charge, I need to be whatever, and how he's bossing everybody around.
Yeah, that is very true. And just for just to let everybody know, I am not a Cyclops fan. I am not
either. I don't. Okay, to his credit though, I mean,
I agree with you, Youngles, that this Cyclops is better than the other Cyclops that we've had in the past.
Yeah.
When he was always like kind of looking down on everybody else, which made us just detest him.
Right. And I feel like in this one, he's clearly under a lot of stress.
Yeah.
Which is why he's kind of like, I can't remember which episode it was where he's like, oh, I think it's the first one, when he's like, oh, they're playing basketball, blah, blah, blah. And then Jean is like, yeah, well, you used to complain all the time that we didn't have any fun. And like, so I think he went through, the first episode did a really good job, I think, with the character growth of Cyclops, all kind of like catching him up to modern times instead of making him such a friggin' white boy. And then, like a little bit more like, because I think that's the thing that's always bothered me about him, because these are marginalized people, right? Like these are marginalized people, and Cyclops is such
a Chad.
And I'm like, I get that we have our pick-me's, I understand, but like honestly, you know what I mean? Like, how can the person leading the X-Men or like the main, whatever, be like so out of touch with what his fellow people are going through? Like,
which is why I always thought it was a good idea. They always had Storm there as well, because Storm was the leader of the other team in the comics,
right.
And she was so much. Everybody on the team always looked to Storm. They never really looked to Cyclops unless they were in a battle situation.
Right.
Now, the thing that I liked about this is that, like you said, they did make it where, like, look, this dude ain't stupid. Yes, he is who he is, but when it comes down to battle tactics, this is where he shines. And they did a good job of showing, like, look, this is why certain people like him.
Yeah.
Because this is the best Cyclops has ever looked in anything, live action or animated.
I think they took a page out of Captain America.
Yes.
It feels like, because the greatest thing about Captain America is that he's true to his convictions, like, no matter what, right? But like, he's not a dick about it. Like, he doesn't project that onto other people as much until like Stark gets out of line and he has to like protect others. But like, he's never like, oh, you need to be this way because I'm this way. And Cyclops very much used to be like that, but now it feels like he's more like, okay, I'm just acting like a fool because I'm angry and upset, and so like, let's work through this together. And I feel like that's a better vibe for him.
Yeah, that's why I was like, okay, I kind of like what they did with him. Wolverine's still Wolverine.
I love it.
Yeah, they don't need to change that at all. Gambit is still Gambit. Don't need to change that at all. Rogue, I'm gonna need a couple more episodes to see, because at first she felt like Rogue, then that second episode hit, and I'm like, okay. I don't know if I would have went with that story, because that story in the comic don't really make a whole lot of sense, and it's the Magneto Rogue admission that they had something between them at one point.
I just want her to be happy, god damn it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so tired of her being put through the ringer just because she's like the sad, lonely, her entire story means she can't have intimacy, kind of like, I get it, but like, why can't we just have an arc where she's happy? Jesus Christ.
That's why I was like, I thought it was one of the things I thought they were going to do, because in the comics now they found a way around that, because her and Gambit are married and they have let it be known that they get intimate all the time.
Finally.
But there's a way around that, and I was thinking they were going to probably do that in here, but they're probably going to wait before they do that, because this thing did get already got greenlit and the second season already done. So I'm pretty sure they'll probably move on, but I don't know why they went that route off the rip with them, because it was always stupid.
I feel like they're it could just be like a red herring or whatever too. It could just be like Rogue. Maybe this arc of Rogue is like very like past Rogue versus new Rogue, and we're gonna get that same character development. We're just not getting it yet because we got it for Cyclops and then Magneto, and now whoever's next character development, probably Storm or whatever the next episode is going to be. It feels like they're kind of giving each character their own kind of like little bit of a development episode arc,
which is good. They're because they're probably going to need that, because if going by my Twitter and Facebook, a lot of people don't know a lot of stuff that happened, and I'm like, ooh, I already know what this is leaning towards, so y'all in for a good treat. I
mean, I've read the X-Men comic Wikipedia.
which has some good stuff in it, by the way, because they had some stuff in it that I didn't even know.
Because a while ago we were talking about, me and my partner were talking about something, and then we just went down the rabbit hole of cable, and
that's a big rabbit hole. That is a big rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Which some of it is probably going to get addressed this season. Actually,
yeah,
because
it feels like it.
Boy, that's a whole. I hope y'all love triangles and telenovela because y'all finna get one. Oh. But that being said, I do love the return of the Friends of Humanity, my favorite racist animated group. Those guys are awesomely, because they're so cliched. It's funny.
Yeah,
they're so cliched. Like the main dude, this episode they got Sunspot, Bobby DaCosta, and I'm just sitting there looking, and the way the guy's talking, I'm like, bro, all you need is like a Kentucky like hick accent, and it would be spot on perfect for the stuff that's coming out your mouth right now. Like, dude, it was funny, and because it's always funny because they always get beat up.
Yep.
And it's beautiful when they get beat up. Because that's the one where they have the big Cyclops action sequence where they show how he uses his powers to basically skate around. I'm like, yeah, he can do that. Like, I know a lot of people didn't know that, but yeah, he can do that. He doesn't shoot lasers. So
yeah, those aren't lasers coming out of his eyeballs. He's not Superman.
No, because a lot of people misconstrue and they think those are lasers. No, those are actually, they give you basically a concussion depending on the severity of it.
Right.
Which is why he has that thing on the side of his visor.
Punch to the face.
Basically. So there's that. I loved the fact that even though I'm trying to figure out when they're going to explain this, why is Bishop there if he's still a time traveler?
I was wondering why Bishop was there too, because I was confused. I was confused a little.
Yeah, they're gonna have to explain.
I didn't know why he was there that early. Like, why are you right here, right now?
Maybe because they knew what they were gonna do to Storm, and they didn't want to get rid of the only black character on the cast.
That's what it is.
So they'll just sneak him in. No one will notice.
Nobody notices. Like, no, dude, we noticed because the original series he only showed up like 3 times. When the story called for it. Right.
But it's definitely, you can tell just by Jubilee's design how much more they're leaning into like representation and things like that, because Jubilee never looked Chinese in the old one. Mm-hmm. She just looked like everybody else. And her design was like so excited because like not that I don't mind her. She's not really my favorite, but just having that like foster Chinese immigrant representation was really cool.
Plus, I need more stuff with her and Wolverine hanging out together so she can get all the bad habits of wanting to fight everybody.
Yes, yes.
Because the club scene, there's a scene where they go to the club, and it's a 90s club. So if you was born in 2000, you have no idea what's going on. Because that's how clubs work.
Nope.
That's pretty much how they work. So
yeah, people were not sitting in the VIP with the $1,000 bottle, and that's all you did. No, that's not how the clubs work.
No, that's not how they went down. So that was a cool sequence. And then we got the second episode, because at the end of the first episode, we got Magneto. We found out that Charles left everything to Magneto, which is on brand. So,
but also, not only did he leave everything to Magneto, he had it bound in a leather-bounded book. Like, who does that?
Somebody that really, they really did put a lot of thought into that.
Well, now I feel as though we all have to have a will that's in a leather-bound book.
I
don't have a lot.
So why is it so big?
Yeah, it shouldn't be that big. But yeah, apparently he left everything, because that was one of the things Scott was upset about, was he thought everything was coming to him. Nah, bro.
Come on.
Everything could have went into a trust or something.
Yeah. But nah, he put everything to Magneto. And look, I like Magneto. He's a dope character. But I probably, if me and him really best friends, I wouldn't give him everything. I give him some stuff. He ain't getting everything.
You have like checks and balances.
Yeah,
place,
like,
I think, you know.
Nah, he gave everything to him, because that was pretty much the big stressor of the second episode was The X-Men don't trust him, and they have very right to.
Yeah.
They have every right to not trust this man. But I gotta give it to him. That scene at the last 15 minutes, last 10 minutes of the episode, where he's in front of the UN, the speech he gives to the UN, because he basically calls them out and calls them out on their hypocrisy.
Yep.
And when I thought he was going to kill old boy for doing, because yes, Storm does get shot and her powers get taken, Magneto immediately gets pissed. Immediately. And at that point, I'm like, oh, they finna show him kill people on TV. Nice. I love streaming. So like they finna show him kill them right now. But no, he takes them to orbit and basically tells them, like, look, there was a time where I would have killed every last one of y'all for just looking at Storm the wrong way. I'm trying to be better. I'm like, the way he said it, I'm like, bruh, y'all got 2 more chances. Y'all got 2 more chances to piss this man off. And he gonna go full nuclear. And I loved him for it. But
I absolutely loved his point too, where he says you did everything right and you're still the bad guys because you still like gave me a fair trial and that's bad enough. Like that was such a good line.
And there's a lot of people that really think they're Magneto. I'm like, Magneto will kill you.
Yeah.
It's like there's a lot of y'all, and there's gonna be some people on Twitter that, because I've seen them, I just started laughing when people got mad because Giancarlo Esposito said he would love to play Xavier with Denzel as Magneto. People got mad, dude. He's an actor, just doing a casting twist, and you got pissed off, mad, bruh. Magneto will kill you in 2 seconds.
I mean, I get the not, because I think he said something about not wanting to be in a wheelchair, and I kind of I get it, but at the same time, he can just feel that. Like, if they cast somebody as Professor Xavier and don't put him in a wheelchair, that's like a studio level decision. That's not an actor level decision all the time. So it just felt very out of proportion.
I thought it was funny, especially when you hear the speech, and I was just going back and thinking, I'm like, but y'all have no idea. Like, that's why I was like, I was mad at the Storm stuff, but the stuff that came after it was actually really cool, and it was to the point where you're like, y'all really don't know how close y'all came to meeting whatever deity y'all serve.
Right.
Really don't know how close y'all came, because he was really gonna do it. And he's really trying, which basically means if you come to my house one more time, you send somebody after me, I'm sending them back to you.
Yeah,
it's probably gonna be a closed casket funeral. So I do like how they did that. Now the ending of the episode is probably the one where people, if you don't know anything about Cable, this is probably the time you might want to go to Wikipedia. There's another redhead who opens the door that looks exactly like Jean Grey, and immediately faints, which makes me believe that that's the real Jean Grey. Since that's the first she did in the 90s was faint. So we're finna get a Madeline Pryor versus Jean Grey off.
That's interesting.
Yep, because
I didn't think about that.
Cyclops never had a child with Jean Grey. He had a child with Madeline Pryor, who is Jean's clone. So this is going to be very interesting because,
that would make sense too as to why she's so, we need to leave the X-Men, we need to leave the X-Men. That makes a lot of, or crying about wanting to have a normal baby. I don't, that felt very out of character for Jean.
Yeah, I think the hint they were trying to give us with the constant, we need to leave, we need to leave, we need to leave.
Yeah.
She did it 4 times in that second episode. I'm like, okay. But that's pretty much why. Although I do like the funny part of when she started going into labor, and this Logan there with her, and she was like, he's coming. He's like, who? Apocalypse? He pops the claws like, the baby.
Yeah, let me tell you, as somebody who went into labor and then drove in the passenger seat to the hospital as my partner was driving, that is the most excruciating pain I've ever been in my entire life. And her making the roof of the car just that was so real for me. I was like, because you can't. you want to move your body, but you can't. There's no way to like get comfortable, and you have to be buckled in, and it's just everything is touching you. And I'm surprised she didn't flip the car, to be quite honest.
That's why I thought the whole scene was fun. That had me laughing because from Wolverine's dumbfounded look to like, I would rather be fighting Apocalypse right now, to him, but he was gonna run all them people over. He was gonna run all them people over. Them people was gonna get ran over.
The other thing, she didn't have a birth plan. They got to the hospital and they didn't know that the doctors wouldn't deliver her baby. So
I thought that was weird.
So that means right.
It was on brand. It was on brand.
That means that she would have either never had prenatal care.
Like,
right?
What?
Beast was there. Beast was in the niche, and Beast is a medical doctor, so he probably did all that.
But I think the original plan was to have Beast deliver the baby. And then the whole thing with Magneto happened, which took everybody out of the scene. So they had no choice. Yeah. Because I can't imagine that they would be like, yeah, let's go to a regular hospital, because that's going to be.
And let's be real.
Yeah, let's go to a regular hospital and not actually have an OBGYN and not have it planned out and not tour a hospital, not anything.
Right, because by month 5, 6, you know exactly who is on, like which doctors are on call, which one you might get, where you're going, what all that stuff she would know. So they must have just not had plans to have a hospital birth.
And let's be real, nobody's trusted Logan delivering a baby.
No, hell no.
We trust him. We trust him to cut people up. We do not trust him to deliver babies. No.
That was so good when they were just like, take his medical knowledge, and Rogue's like, okay.
I mean, if you're gonna be, hey, look, that's why I was like, look, I love the fact that the racists got in the episodes. And like, bro, you see the woman is in labor. It ain't gonna hurt you to deliver the baby. You gonna be like that. You deserve everything about to happen to you.
And you know what's wild is that people are on the internet calling the X-Men like whiners and stuff. Like those episodes were so laid out, right? Like if you watch them, because I watched them again last night to prep, but like there's like the first scene is that dude being Roberto being like, here, I can give you as much money as you want, and then being like, it's not about money. Like all throughout the show, we see different people that aren't X-Men being harmed by this human mutant kind of situation going on. And like people are still out there trying to be like, yeah, the X-Men won a lot. They have jobs and stuff, you know, they're like fine. Like,
I think you don't understand the purpose of the series, bro.
Yeah, like you've lost the plot, my guy. Like, what do you mean?
That's why I was so happy that this was coming back, because they're supposed to be shooting the live action version. And I'm like, just seeing how the MCU has done, I'm like, I can't wait to see what the MCU does with the X-Men as opposed to what Fox did. Because Fox always acted like they were scared to touch on the racism.
Oh, for sure.
Because if you ever saw any of those old X-Men cartoons, they sound a lot like Fox News when you start listening to it. You go back and watch the first, second, third season of the animated series. A lot of that stuff, especially when you start talking about Graydon and Creed, it starts to sound a lot like Fox. Yeah. So they never really touched on it. Like they always touched on the action stuff and what Wolverine was doing. Which
is so wild to me, because X-Men tells it from a eugenics perspective. They're not telling it from a race perspective. They're telling it from a eugenics perspective. Like human, like. And I thought we were just talking, because my kids, we were watching the original. We're on season 3 right now. We just went through the Dark Phoenix arc.
I love Dark Phoenix saga.
And like, they're like, well, why are they called X-Men? And I'm like, well, there's 2 things, right? Because Xavier, but also I was like, once you're determined that you're a mutant, you're no longer human. Like, it doesn't matter. Like you're an X-Man or whatever. Like you could think about it that way, because like, which is why I thought it was weird that Fox didn't touch on it, because they could have gone
that way,
the eugenics perspective.
And I think it's in season 4, if I'm not mistaken. There is an episode where it is a race-based thing, because it's doing with that alternate reality where Wolverine and Storm are married, and they come back in time to the 50s, and dude was like, I'm not serving their kind, and it was because it was black. He was like, she was like, skin color prejudice. That's pathetic. And then Wolverine just was like, yep, he's gonna die. So
yeah.
You ain't finna disrespect my wife in my face and think I'm not gonna do you in front of everybody.
Right.
So that was one of the times where they actually did it.
Yeah.
Where it was like race based.
Yes.
But I was like, yeah, this is what this series is about, dude. Like,
right.
If you class clearly did not get the assignment.
No. and it's like, yeah, because the X-Men, the original, like, would touch on the whole reason it exists was to tell alternate stories of people that aren't in the mainstream situation. And so, like, it's just not for you, bro. Like, and that's fine. Like,
and that's cool. You got the Avengers.
Yeah, but it tells me a lot about you. I mean,
yeah, it does.
Thank you for letting me know. So
like, cool.
I really appreciate you for letting me know ahead of time.
Yep, thank you for that.
But yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now, I enjoyed the first 2 episodes, man. They did a very good job. And it left on a cliffhanger, and yeah, I need this. I need the rest of the season. I don't. Since y'all gonna give me 2 episodes of the first season, can y'all so I can go on to binge it and keep binging it over and over again, please? And I didn't even tell y'all about the cool part of Gambit charging Wolverine's claws.
That was so cool.
Morph turning into Blob, him cutting off, blowing up a Sentinel. I didn't even tell y'all about that. I didn't even tell y'all about. I didn't even tell y'all about Rogue RKO and the Sentinel.
Yeah, just. That was so good. Gambit just jumps on his back. Oh man.
Yeah. Like, I need a new X-Men video game stat.
Yes.
Oh wow.
And that needs to be in there.
Honestly.
But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in the episodes. There is so much they did. I will say this: the creators, they did their homework. They really did do their homework. From the interest of Storm doing that tornado lightning turn sand to glass, destroy every Sentinel within 100-mile radius.
That was so good.
I'm like, bro, they did their homework. So I enjoyed this, and I don't really have anything bad to say about it. Because I think they did enough, and the characters were represented correctly. So if you don't like Cyclops, because you're probably not going to like Cyclops because that's just his character. His character is like that.
He is a lot more redeemable in this one.
Yeah. Way more redeemable than he was in the original series. I was just like, Wolverine, will you kill this dude so we can have
right? We're just please? Like, why? Logan's right there. What are you doing?
Like,
right?
Nobody on Earth would date this dude. What the?
Nope.
This is unrealistic. So
it's just a trauma bond. That's all it is.
Yeah. At this point, I'm like, man, she pities you. She pities you, dude. That's a pity date. You are a pity relationship, dude.
That scene when Cyclops was like, do it because I said it or whatever, and Logan's like, I don't take orders, and then Jean's all like, please, Logan, and he's
all right,
like,
I'll do it.
Okay, fine.
God dang it. I was all ready to punch him in the face, and you gonna come here do this again. Fine.
Yeah. He's your husband or whatever.
Fine.
I won't
just
kill him.
Give me $20. Give me $20 for gas.
No. Can I fly the jet this time?
Yeah, so I enjoyed it. 2 episodes in, we got 8 more to go. I'm looking forward to it. So, Vicky, overall thoughts?
I mean, again, they did my girl Storm wrong. I know I see the vision. I know what they're doing. However, that still made me mad regardless. You know.
Well, she got to show out like 4 times during the episode.
Listen, because they did her wrong in the movies and never showed how strong and amazing she was.
Absolutely.
So then I was, and then for the cartoon to strip her of her powers in the second episode, I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need y'all, like Magneto's like, you're the closest thing to a goddess. No, she is one, okay? She is a goddess.
Yeah.
Okay?
Isn't she like her home?
They treat her like such.
She's like revered like a goddess. Like
yes.
Yeah.
She is a goddess, okay?
Yeah.
And then y'all strip her that. Oh, I was like, y'all. But overall, it did feel like I was a kid again watching Saturday morning cartoons. I've definitely felt like, and it flowed well. Like I did not feel like annoyed by watching anything. So I'm here for it.
Okay, Jen.
I'm so excited. I can't even. I'm watching the original all over again. So I thought it was great. I'm waiting for Rogue to get a happy storyline.
Yes.
Because I'm so tired of seeing my girl get beat up all the time and like have like torn in these like, but I get it because like that's a lot of the reason that people relate to Rogue is because of that, like, you know, maybe you didn't have a family or didn't feel seen or whatever it was. Like, so I get it, but I wish there was more Logan Rogue interaction. I miss a little bit of like their banter a little more. But I'm just a Rogue stan, so that's just how I am. And I would like her and Gambit to get together, and that would be nice, and that would make me happy. And more Gambit in crop tops because really enjoyed that. And then Morph is a little insensitive, but I guess that makes sense. And then we got to see some really cool other X-Men that are no longer that aren't in like he morphed into Psylocke, they morphed into the Archangel guy or whatever. They do some cool stuff in the episode that I thought was cool, and I liked the world building that they were doing to kind of remind us of the world that X-Men takes place in, which is very similar to ours, unfortunately. And also I thought that they did a really good job of spelling out what is going on, and maybe just some people just. So I am so excited for the next couple episodes, and I'm going to be really sad when we don't have any more to talk about.
Yeah, because we're only getting 10 episodes, so that's all we're getting for this first season. So, but the good news is they have already greenlit and shot season 2, so good. They should be able to like, you know, we shouldn't have to wait that long. For Disney, not that long.
I hope also that this brings a resurgence back into 2D animation because I am so tired of everything being 3D CGI.
Yeah. Everything doesn't need there needs to be a balance to that. Right. Some stuff just looks better hand-drawn animated, to be honest, as opposed to like CG. It just does. You won't be able to get a lot of the cool shots that you can get, camera tricks you can do like that. Personally, I want to see how they do Mr. Sinister. I do like that he's like hinted at in the episodes. If you're paying attention, he's kind of hinted at, especially with the Jean Grey when she used Cerebro. I'm like, oh, that's Mr. Sinister. There you go. There we go. And I do hope one of my favorite X characters shows up, Mojo. So we can get that one episode of him doing some reality TV shenanigans. I just want another reality TV show shenanigan episode. I love Mojo in the Mojoverse. It is awesome because that dude's like the worst executive producer of all time. And I love him for that. So I just hope we get that one episode. I just need one. I don't need a full arc with Mojo. That's too much. I just need one episode of him just doing reality TV show shenanigans. That's all I need, and I'll be a happy camper. Other than that, though, some of y'all need to read up, do a Wikipedia deep dive. You'll be all right. You got till Wednesday, and just sit back, enjoy the ride. Make sure you have your pajamas, and just get a bowl of cereal when you watch it, and you'll be fine.
Exactly.
Promise. I promise you will be. The only other thing I didn't think about, and I just thought about it, why did they put it on Wednesday? They should have put it on Saturday morning.
Because everything comes out Wednesday.
Yeah, I would have made an exception for this one, though. I would have made an exception for this one.
Because it comes out on Wednesday, but it don't matter because I ain't going to watch it until Saturday morning. So if they came out on Saturday, that means I wouldn't watch it until Wednesday. So, come out on Wednesday, and then I can get my life. My life falls apart, and then it gets together again, and then it falls apart again. And then I can sit down and watch Saturday morning.
All I know is I went and bought a box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch for this. So
that's one of my kids' safe foods. So we have it all the time.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch a bowl of cereal,
Yeah.
Saturday morning, X-Men. Yes.
And
Yes.
like my kids are obsessed now. Like one likes the new one,
Mhm.
one likes the old one, and we've just been watching. It's just been X-Men like extravaganza in my house since Wednesday. It's just been nonstop. So it's been really fun to like, because 2D animation brings so much. Like people are drawing more, people, you know what I mean? It like definitely inspires a lot more, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Jen, I just want to let you know your children have lovely taste.
They do. Bad Batch, X-Men. They
have
watched
great
the
taste.
whole Ahsoka lot. Yeah, no, I couldn't have asked for. I don't know what I did, but I got nerds. So.
You got lucky. You got lucky. All right, people, leave a comment. Let us know what you guys thought about the first 2 episodes, and are you watching the original? I go back and forth. So just leave a comment, let us know, and we will see you guys later. Don't forget, Winging It Podcast tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Chat will be open, and we got some foolishness to talk about, so please join us there. And we will see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.